Welcome to Miscellaneous Thoughts. In this video, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why not to go to college. Not to say that you shouldn't go to college, but these 4 reasons support not going to college. I'm also going to tell you that one of these alternate routes other than college, and not going to college out of high school, can be a way to achieve more and try for more. Because I always hear that you go to college if you want more in life, if you want more money and more success or more whatever money basically. I'm here to tell you that the alternate route can certainly be a way to try to do that. And in fact, if I was a high school, right now I'm 28. I went to college for 3 years. If I was a high school student, right now, I would choose one of these alternate routes other than going to college because I do want more, and I think that they're actually more lucrative and better, and so I think that narrative's wrong. But let's get into it. First, I will say though that especially because realistically, you probably won't have to pay the loan for college if you get a federal loan. So, if you just want to go, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to want to go to college, of course. Especially if it's if you want a job and a career you need college. And then also just if you just want to have the experience, have fun, and you just don't really care that much yet. But I'm gonna give you the 4 reasons why you may want to not go to college. All right. Number one, it's a much greater commitment than you realize than people in school. I mean, maybe the dynamic has changed a little bit on things. I'm not totally sure. But anyways, especially with the sentiment, with what I'll get to later about the sentiment about if you don't go to college, you're going to be a laborer basically forever. That was a sentiment when I was growing up. I don't know if it still is, but back to number one. It's a much greater commitment than you realize with time and money. Like, how much it is in high school, but you don't, like a lot of people, I think, at least for me, and I think a lot of people, I don't appreciate how much money that is. If you go $40,000 in debt, $50,000 in debt, I mean, if you actually think you're going to pay that off, that's a lot of money to pay back. Then account for the amount of money that you're not making while you could have been working this whole time. Then on top of that, when you're working, you would be getting experience towards something. So all of this is accumulative money you're losing out on a lot of money to try to make up for. And then the time aspect. I mean, the time kind of goes into that money thing, but you put in so much time now, especially if you're going to play a sport. I played football as an NAIA school. Thinking back now on all the time now, yeah, it was a decent experience. I can't really say, I wish I didn't play or anything, but the amount of, I could, as an adult in the real world, I mean, I hope, a lot of the people would be watching this would be high schoolers thinking about if you should go to college, and some of them might be thinking about play sports. As an adult in the real world, I couldn't spend that much time doing something for free. It's insane. It's insane that on half the mornings I would go in at 6 a.m. or 7, and we would do team workout, and we would do meetings in the afternoons, in the evenings, film sessions. You have practices all the time, and then when you don't, you're practicing on your own and working out and stuff. There's so much time in your life, and you're in the prime of your life, and you're spending it all working towards what? A sport that, I mean, especially if you're just going to NAI or something. I'm not saying it's totally wrong. It does have a lot of benefits. You get a lot of friends or parties, all this stuff, but experience, it is fun, but otherwise, overall, you have to appreciate how much time and money it really is. Even if you don't want to pay the money back, fine. But appreciate how much time this is. It's if you're gonna go for 4 or 5 years, this is your your 18 to 23 year, you are basically choosing, unless you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or anything that you're really geared towards something. This is really what you want. You have to really think about, because if you're going to put this much commitment into that, really think about, like, is this really what I want? And you probably don't know. You're too young to know, probably. That's why I would just hit the workforce. But a lot of people just go in and get like a business degree, or they just go in and they admit, they don't deny that they're just getting a degree. Basically, they're not getting like some kind of sophisticated degree where you need some. If you do that, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you should acknowledge that you're choosing your youth from 18 to 23, 24, maybe even, to do something like that under this pretext that you're preparing yourself for this great future because you have a degree and maybe you'll get some kind of job. I guess the idea is you get a job not having to work very hard is basically the idea, and then you get benefits and that other things. But just realize that those years 18 to 23 and whatever, those are your best years of your life. Not in terms of enjoyment wise, and well, they probably are actually, but I'm talking about in terms of like your capabilities, and well, you're probably more capable later in life actually, but it's just like you have the most energy, you're willing to go through the most struggle, you'll do like the most, you're gonna work the hardest. As the years go on, you don't feel like working as hard, you don't feel like sacrificing as much or being as dedicated on things. Whenever you're younger, you do. So these are your prime years. You're choosing to have fun with them if that's what you do, basically, instead of that. But it's a commitment either way. You're taking up your entire year. You could have been working, you could be doing anything. I would never, go to a classroom and sit there, let alone pay money to do it. Now I own a painting company. I would never do anything like go to a meeting and pay money to go to it. They have to pay me for me to go to something like that. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Well, and about number 1, it doesn't matter. The money, yeah, is. I had the average of how much it costs. It doesn't matter. Well, number 2, I kind of touched on it, but it's opportunity. So if you want something like really big in life, these years are kind of your opportunity to get it started to where it could really happen for you. You may think 4 years is no big deal. I'm young. Everything's fine. Well, when you're in your upper 20s, you may very well start to have a family. And when you get into your 30s, you may definitely start to have a family. And I think most women don't want to, I'm not for sure, but I think when they get to like their 40s or even their upper 30s, I think they're kind of not too keen on having kids. So that's the time frame you have. And so basically, first of all, if you go to college and you graduate, you're probably not going to like try to do something huge, but you just wouldn't have the time for it. So like when you're this age, this is the time that you are the most keen to save money, work the hardest, like go through, the things to where you get this out, you have an opportunity. This is the time where you can give yourself an opportunity to kind of, I don't know, do something big. If you got, you can dream big. If you're going to dream big, if you want to dream big, this is going after it right out of high school will give you a significant advantage over going to college first. That's the main point. Because if you're going to go to college first and then try to dream big, you're going to get a girlfriend and a family, and you might start having kids, you might have pets, whatever it is, you're going to start having more money to pay for, you're going to have your vehicles, you have bills, now you're in the real world. and you're going to struggle for a few years. You're going to be broke. You have to pay rent and all this stuff. And maybe if you got a really good job, maybe you won't struggle, but then you probably won't want to dream as big if you got out of college and just got something good. So if you come out of high school, you can go into something, save your money, and easier, have less payments, less complications in your life yet. So a job opportunity. Number 3 is the physical work. Working like physically is nowhere near as bad as how people like make it out for you. So you don't want to do this your entire life. I get that. But for your first, so this is mainly, if there's different avenues you could take. One, I think that's very clear and really good, especially for guys and people that are physically capable or athletic, to go into a housing trade such as painting, like I did for a few years, and then start up your own company. It's just a slam dunk on all accounts. Well, working physically when you're in your 20s is nowhere near as bad as how people act. Like working a physical labor job is so bad, as long as you're not, you don't want to be digging holes and stuff. But even if you were doing this late into your life, you may not want to. But the idea that this is so bad for you, I mean, it's not that intensive. These jobs are not, all the jobs I see on different trades, most of them, if you're outside digging holes or doing other, but I'm talking housing trades and stuff. Yeah, you get under your knees. This stuff's probably good for you, keeping you limber, keeping you moving. I see work around a lot of old people in their 60s and 50s, and they're working really good, physically perfect. They've been doing it their whole life. So I don't think it's bad for you. I think it keeps you in shape. But not that you would want to do that your whole life, but doing that for into your 20s, it's not that bad. When you're in school, it's crazy. You're sitting on your ass all day. And then, in my free time, I kind of wanted to sit on my ass. But now in my free time, I'm standing up all the time. I don't ever sit down because whenever I work, you don't sit down. You work all day. You're on your feet all day. It's insane how the school system, you're sitting on your butt all day. But I don't mind being physically working. I would rather do it. Now, people always say I'd rather do this than sitting at a desk. But I don't have a problem with sitting at a desk at all. But there's no problem working physically either. And they act like, it's so hard. Okay, number 4, and this is the best, most obvious, is there's many avenues to take for your career path. And this is the number one reason, kind of why to not do it, especially if you want to, any of these avenues. Basically, if you don't want what college has to offer, in terms of, not in terms of the money, I'm talking in terms of the parties and the friends. Because if you just want the money, if you want to be a lawyer, you're going to have to be a lawyer. But if you just want the money, so many avenues that, maybe they're underrated. How about number 1, realtor? You don't need to go to college to be a realtor. Realtors make so much money. You just can be good at it or whatever. And now when I was a painter for the other guy I painted for, we would always be in, if we were in a really nice house, and you asked, what these people did. Because a lot of times they'd be maybe famous, you knew them, they had, and they'd be well known. But if they weren't and they had a really, really nice house, and we'd be in really, really nice houses a lot, and you asked what they did, 9 out of 10 times, they were a realtor. So realtors make a shit ton of money. You don't need to go to college. You can just become, a realtor, sell houses, be good at that, be a people person. Fuck it, and then on top of that, you can start your own real estate business. So this is uncapped. Then you're making a shit ton of money. Now, another one that's similar, insurance agent. selling insurance, I almost did this, started to get into this for a second at one point in my life, and I saw this as so lucrative, but I was, I'm a painter, I'm a skilled painter, I ended up doing it, but, selling insurance, not only can you do it, but you can also start a business, and you don't even actually have to start your own company. You can work for other companies, but, get other insurance agents to work underneath you, and you train them, you hire them, you do all the work with them, and they're like your people, and you get a commission on what they sell. And so you can start your business that way. And then it is like your business inside the company. But on top of that, you can just sell your own insurance. Sell life insurance, whatever. You can make a ton of money. Especially if you end up starting your own business inside the company, you can make a really ton of money. And so don't need college for that, make a ton of money. And then this is the one that, if I was in high school, I would probably do is a housing construction trade. Pretty much what I'm doing now, but I acknowledge I didn't start this. I didn't start painting until I was 23. And I already had a girlfriend and dogs and stuff. And I already had left college. And then, we're moving out on our own. We're always broke, working as a painter. I'm broke. Worked there for 3 years, and I started my own company. Been doing it for 2 years. But it's still a struggle because I am broke and started off broke. But if I started this after high school, before life had all its complications, it would have been a lot easier. But that would be the other avenue, would be any housing construction, any trade at all. Doesn't have to be housing construction. You could be mowing lawns, anything. You don't have to, coming out of high school, start the business. Coming out of high school, if you are a capable person physically, and for example, housing construction, but it could be anything. I mean, especially mowing. But you call up a company or apply to an ad, and you'll probably get hired. I mean, we're kind of going into a recession, but typically you get hired. And if you're a good worker, they're going to appreciate you because of the sentiment that people have put on going to college, that if you go to, if you want better for yourself, you have to go to college. Now, the workers in these fields are not your top, they're not the people that as often wanted better for themselves. And so if you do, your boss will notice that and appreciate you. And, you'll be in like fun. If you work a job, carpentry, flooring, painter, anything like that, I recommend not doing something that sucks. I don't want to do drywall. It sucks. Painting, pretty easy, but a lot of times I get looped into a lot of drywall crap. Carpentry, probably not bad, and flooring decent, but you on your knees a lot. And then there's other things too, mowing lawns and stuff, but it's kind of seasonal. But you might want to put some thought into what job you're going to go into, and then going to a job coming out of high school with the idea that after maybe a few years, maybe 4 years, 3 years, you are going to start your own company, eventually anyways. And you can move. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to start it right where you work. That would be kind of shitty. While you're working there, you kind of can think of where you want to move to. And now you can hang out with your friends for a few years while you work on. And you move somewhere new and you start up a company. I've started two, and just like in the most bootstrappy crap way, like no money at all. I mean, the reason I started, I had no. And anyway, you get yourself out there. I mean, the painting. And now this day and age, you got the Facebook and the whole thing. I mean, that's how I got busy. As soon as I started the painting company from Facebook, is how I originally got busy, and I've never stopped getting busy since. But if you just can work any job, trade, and become decent worker at it, understand the job, understand the trade, understand the business, and then maybe pick a place you want to move to. At one point I had done this and picked Charlotte, North Carolina, only because at that time we were excluding Texas. Now I would include Texas and I would choose a city in Texas. But you pick a place, you move there, start your company, and you could do all that easily by the time you're 22. It doesn't even have to be labor. And by the way, if it is labor, the idea is not that you will always be the painter. You want to start, if you're going to start it this way, your idea would be to start it, and by at least 5 years or 10 or something, I mean, by 5 years, definitely like have a lot of hands off. Maybe by 10 years, maybe totally hands off. Maybe you don't even want to be totally hands off, but whatever. But I would try to build it that way to where you have, guys that have been with you for long enough where they're supervisors now, and you're drawn back, and the more you can draw yourself back, the bigger you can go. You can end up expanding to multiple cities. This is how you can become huge. So anyways, that's my list of 4 reasons why not to go to college. It's a big commitment, money and time. It is, you're throwing away an opportunity that you have. You're never going to get that opportunity back, being the 18 to 25. I mean, of course, you're never going to be that age again, but you're never going to be like that again, where you have not as many life complications. I mean, in most situations, especially, like cheaper life expenses. And then on top of that, like more energy, but a more willingness to do like crap. Like I think about the stuff I did at that age that I just am not willing to like do the same sacrifice to make the same for the same goals that I would still want. Like, I mean, it's just, I actually look back on especially a sports pad, I look back on it with a lot of stuff and think like, I can't believe that I did some of the stuff I did for that goal. It wouldn't seem worth the work to me now. And so, anyways, when you're younger, it's your opportunity. Working physically, not so bad at how they push that so much. Don't like people like will frown upon. Like, I mean, at least when I was that age, was like, if you're gonna be a painter, coming out of high school, like, oh, what the fuck, that's bullshit. But it's like, look, I'll go be a painter, learn how to be a painter, and start a business, and then you don't have to just be painting. After a while, you're going to learn how to do carpentry. You can start being a builder, flipping houses. Flipping houses is really it's going to be the additional play, and that's a great idea. The flipping game too, so it's interesting. If you are a painter or something, then you do the work and the flip. But like if you have a painting company now, it's even better. But a lot of people, they buy the house, they do the flip. A lot of people don't do any of the work themselves, and they hire just contractors, just different companies, and the companies charge them a bunch and do a shitty job, and they're slow and it's inefficient and all this stuff. And I mean, so if you had your own company and you did the flip, and that's my long-term idea, but that's a really, really great idea, I think, to incorporate that. But anyway, and then, yeah, there's just so many avenues. That's number 4. So that's my list of 4. Sorry, the video ran a little long. I'm going to try to make the videos a lot shorter. But if you got all the way through it, to be honest, I'm surprised. It's my first video for the YouTube channel. Miscellaneous Thoughts. So thank you for watching this video. Give me a subscription. I'm going to continue to do videos on my Miscellaneous Thoughts. All right, thanks. Have a good day. Bye.